Hello and welcome back to Paul's Previews. Today we'll be looking at this emergency radio. This radio is produced in China and distributed by many companies. This particular radio is distributed by RunningSnail and has the model number MD/088P. I know RunningSnail are a bona fide company. They do offer a guarantee with this, and the guarantee is for a 30-day money-back guarantee, a 12-month warranty replacement, and a lifetime support guarantee. And I know that's true because I have had to email them with regards to a query, and they emailed me back the very next day, so that's good customer support. So let's have a look at dimensions. It is 145 millimeters long. It is 75 millimeters high and 55 millimeters deep from front to back. For those of you who can't visualize that, let's compare this to a can of Coke. So it's not much bigger than a can of Coke. So let's have a look at the accessories that come with this radio. So we've got a lanyard, we've got a charging cable with a micro B connector on the end, and surprisingly it also came with a couple of connectors. So that converts the micro B into a lightning port and into a Type-C connector, and it also came with the user manual. So let's have a look at the various components of the radio. We've got a on-off switch combined with a volume control. We've got a tuning control. We've got an AM/FM selection switch. We've got an SOS button. We've got a display that shows you the battery state. We've got a tuning display. On the top we've got a solar panel. We've got a light switch. At the rear we've got a telescopic antenna. At the front we've got a flashlight. Towards the rear we've got a rubber cover which, when exposed, shows 2 USB ports, and at the rear we've got the hand crank handle. So let's have a look at the function of this thing. So we've got a telescopic aerial at the rear for FM reception. We've got a on-off switch. We've got a tuning knob. We've got a AM/FM band selection. Got a volume control. We've got a light on and off switch, and obviously a light. We've got a crank handle at the rear to charge up the batteries. We've got this panel at the back, which is a rubberized panel, and at the back we've got 2 USB ports. If we plug this in here and use the other end, we can use this to charge up our mobile phones or any other appliances that we've got. if we plug this in here, we can use this end to stick into a battery bank or a power supply or computer and charge the batteries in the radio. Well, this is a rubberized cover. I believe that the radio itself is only IP3, so it's only rainproof, it's not waterproof, you couldn't submerge this. The other thing it's got is this SOS button. Now, I was taken a bit by surprise when I pressed this SOS button, because I thought I was going to get SOS flashed out on the LED lamp, but in fact I got this. Quite a loud noise, and the LED flashing. At the rear there is the panel, which is undone by these two screws, and I believe this gains access to the battery. So one of the nice features about this radio are the 5 LEDs along the bottom of the display panel. Now currently the one on the left hand side is red. Now that tells me that the radio is charging, and at the moment it's charging via the solar panel, but it also turns red when you're powering it via the USB or when you're turning the crank handle. The 4 other LEDs along the bottom are activated when you press the SOS button, when you turn on the radio, or when you turn on the LED torch. At the moment you can see we've got 5 LEDs, 1 red one, 4 blue ones, and the 4 blue ones tell you that if 4 LEDs are lit up, we've got 75 to 100% battery capacity. If 3 LEDs are lit, we've got 50 to 75% capacity. If 2 batteries are lit, we've got 25 to 50% capacity. 1 LED is lit, we've got 3 to 25% battery capacity. And if we've got 1 flashing LED, then we've got less than 3% battery capacity. And as you can see, after a while, the 4 battery indication LEDs go off. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about recharging the batteries. Now, the only way to fully charge the batteries is through the USB socket via a computer, power supply or battery bank. The manufacturer clearly states in the handbook that that's the only way to fully charge the batteries. The solar panel and the hand crank facility top up the batteries, but not to 100%. Having said that, I used this radio the other day for 5.5 hours, and the LED dropped down from 4 bars to 3 bars, and then I've left it outside on the windowsill, and when I've come to use it today, then it's back up to 100%. I did charge up my iPhone off of this the other day, and I went from 100% to 25%, and it only charged up my battery an extra 40%. So it's not the be all and end all, and it's not something to be guaranteed, but it might get you out of a sticky situation. One other thing to mention about the battery is the manufacturer doesn't recommend that you leave this radio lying around. It does need a little bit of maintenance. The manufacturer does recommend that the batteries are recharged once every 3 months. Something about the hand crank. The handbook states that 1 minute of winding the crank will give you 5 to 8 minutes of radio operation, and it will give you 10 to 15 minutes of flashlight operation. So let's move on to the good points about this radio. Well, the good points is, one is the colour. It can obviously be spotted quite some distance away due to it being nice and bright. I like the function of the light. The light is very bright. It's apparently it's 1 watt of power, that lamp. I like the fact that the case is rubberized. It's not easily going to slip out your hand. It's it's a nice texture. The other thing is the size of it. As you can see, it almost fits in my hand. And when you've got the lanyard wrapped around your wrist, you're not going to drop it. The other thing I like about it is the battery status indicator. Let's just have a look at that again. That's a good feature. I've reviewed other products that haven't got that feature on, and you've got no idea of the state of the battery, so it's very, very good. And I also like the fact that it's compact and multifunctional. It's got a radio, it's got a torch, it's got an alarm. So it's multifunctional. Okay, what don't I like about the radio? Well, I don't like the fact that it's not waterproof. It's only splash proof or rainproof. The other thing I don't like about it is the AM tuning. Now, again, I don't know whether it's because I'm indoors, but I do find that it doesn't manage to pick up many radio stations. And the tuning is very sensitive. But my biggest gripe about this radio is this USB socket at the back. Now, due to the close proximity of the socket to the lip for the cover, it makes it very difficult to get this socket in. And it has to go in at an angle, and when it goes in, the edge of the plug hits against the edge for this cover. And I'm wondering, over a period of time, with a constant in and out pushing against the edge of the cover is going to cause the solder or the PCB to crack on the radio. Are there any areas where this radio could be improved? Yes, there's several. One is this light switch. This light switch requires very little pressure to get it to operate. I can imagine you putting this in your kit bag, in your rucksack, in some kind of carrying case, and something pressing against the light switch, and the light staying on without you realising it. And the time that you actually come to use the emergency radio, the battery's flat. The other area where I think this could be improved is this USB cable. It would have been nice if they could have found a compartment where you could store the USB cable, so that when an emergency happens, all you have to do is pick up the radio and go, and not worry about where this is. But the biggest area where it can be improved is in this USB socket at the back underneath this flap. This socket could be moved to the middle, which would make putting the USB plug in a lot more easier. So, yep, there's several rooms for improvement. So how will I rate this emergency radio? Well, considering it's got more good points than bad points, it's relatively cheap, it's multifunctional, I don't think it's very durable, I've got issues with the AM receiver and the USB sockets, so I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. If you have any thoughts about this emergency radio, please stick them in the comments below, hit the like button, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching Paul's Previews.